Hey guys, welcome back to Thunderdome Homestead. So, here trying to button up some stuff for winter, get the garden cleaned up. Plants are all done for the year. Winterizing hoses and pruning some trees, fruit trees. Cleaning up any infrastructure that was put in the garden, like trellises and things like that, and stocking that stuff away for winter. But right now I got a couple of pieces of news that I wanted to share with y'all. Some of this stuff can be quite alarming, but we're preppers, so we're prepared, not scared, right? So I talked to you guys the other day about the fact that Saudi Arabia is thinking about joining BRICS, but they're not the only one. It's also a lot of other countries. Turkey, which is a NATO member, is thinking about doing it, and even countries right on our border. We have Mexico that is in talks with the BRICS nations about joining. So that is somewhat concerning. As far as supply chains and stocks of things, we have the first one is that we have 25-day supply of diesel. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to run out, because we may not. But something to keep an eye on, something to keep in mind, because if we only got 25 days of diesel, that could affect prices drastically, as well as a few other things. So there's that. And we have a 5-day supply globally of copper. So expect shortages and expect very, very high price hikes on that, potentially. Another piece of news, a lot of your big CEOs and hot shots that have a lot of money are all warning right now of hard times. Jeff Bezos is finally starting to ring the bell on this, and he's coming out and saying, hey, the possibility of a recession, if not depression, is getting pretty high. And being as one of the top stocks, I guess you would say, in the market, Amazon, he's the CEO of Amazon, that seems to kind of be a bellwether for the economy. It's something that when he is ringing the bell on that, that's something you may want to pay attention to. So there's that. Jamie Dimon as well. He's the CEO of which bank? I don't remember which bank. Sorry, drawing a blank right now. It is what it is. I'm sure you can find it on the internet somewhere. But he's even warning about a lot of things. And so yeah, you're getting a lot of your CEOs and your executives and your big Fortune 500 companies starting to warn about these things. So, and the big news for the day. You may have already heard about it. And this is something that I plan on putting a little commentary behind. So, the Kung flu that we've been dealing with for the past 3 years, right? Past 3 years, we've had a lot of turmoil with this. And Boston University has developed a strain of the Kung flu, with an 80% mortality rate. 80% lethal. Why in God's green earth would you do that? Why? This gain of function research is getting out of control, and the fact that when they used to do this stuff, our government hid it for years. It was classified. It was totally, this type of research was completely just off the books until 40 years later, and then they're like, all right, I guess we can kind of think about releasing it to the public. No, now it's front page news. So, that begs the question, why are they doing this? Why are they telling us the fact that they're doing this? Do they plan on releasing this out and going, oops? Or what? I mean, so the amount of control that they got over the population the first time with less than 1% lethality. Imagine an 80% lethal. They can shut it all down. And they will. And we will let them. We won't have a choice. I mean, something that's 80% lethal, I sure as shit don't want to get it. Do you? No, probably not. So, that's a problem. The fact that they're even thinking about doing that, that allowing this to happen, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. But that's something you need to keep on your radar. It's something you need to keep aware of, because as much as, we've become desensitized as skeptics, as far as, we've all been skeptical of the whole COVID thing from the beginning, because, maybe the first couple weeks we didn't know anything about it, and we took the proper precautions. We stayed home, we did whatever. Some of us didn't, but after we started to get some of that information trickle in, because initially we knew nothing. Once we started to get some of that information trickling in, we're like, well, only 1% of people are dying from this, and it's been way overplayed, which, we all have our opinions on that. However, after a while, we've become desensitized to it, to where, oh, the new strain is out. It's not a big deal to us. We see what has been done in the past and how it's been used, and we've become complacent over it. But with the news of this new, not strain, but this new strain, with news of that, we need to not let our complacency and our recency bias, our normalcy bias, the things that we understand that the other strains or whatever have been overplayed, but if they let this one out, that one's serious, and we need to treat it as such until we have the facts and the information behind it and the data. So just because all the other ones have been a joke doesn't mean this one's gonna be. I'm not saying, batten down the hatches, it's the end of everything, 80% of the world is gonna die. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, treat it like you would treat anything else. Look at what the data is, look at the actual facts behind it, not just what people are telling you to think, and have a certain respect if this thing gets released out, because if it is an 80% lethality, and we treat it just like every other strain because we're fatigued. We're fatigued over several years of nothing being slammed down our throats and people overreacting over something that's not too overly bad. If we treat this the same way we treated that could present a potential problem. So, that being said, they shouldn't have done this in the first place. And if it does get out, treat it with respect until you know the facts. And if it's just another thing, kind of like the last couple versions of it, then go about your daily life. Don't, no need to shut everything down. But if it's bad, like 80% bad, you may want to give that some more in-depth consideration. Anyhow, these guys over here are getting schwacked today. So, y'all say goodbye to all of them out here. So all these guys, there's about 17 of them. I'm keeping 8. There's 8 inside the Coupe de Ville. And then the quack house has finally been painted. I'll give you a little tour here. So let's see. Check this out. The quack house. So I finally got this. It's gonna need a little bit of work, but it's mostly done. Finally got a door handle now that it's painted. And yeah. So I'm going to be keeping probably, I don't know, 13, 14 chickens or so, and about 8 ducks. The rest are going off to freezer camp. And next year, I'm going to hatch a lot less ducks and a lot more chickens. And I'm going to do an experiment. So once they're big enough to really take care of themselves, I'll unleash them out into the yard. They won't get fed by me. They'll find their own food, they'll forage, they'll do their own thing. I won't supply any grain, and I'll see how they do. And if they do well, I'll put 100 of them suckers out here, and there'll be just hundreds and hundreds of chickens running around, making more chickens. It'll be a whole ecosystem. And who knows, maybe I'll just unleash hordes of chickens around town, and I don't know. It's still in the early process, or the early parts of the process of this plan. So, but all right, guys, you got something out of this. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.